Major Mohommed Ali Shah, defense expert, also joining us this afternoon to talk more about this. Ali, it becomes very, very difficult even to spot and track these drones because they oftentimes are able to dodge and duck radar. Like Ajay Jandyal pointed out, this is definitely a huge achievement.
They take it in a way as a compliment apart from the achievement as well, because obviously it means that logically our borders are sealed, that there is no infiltration. They cannot infiltrate further because our BSF, the army, they are totally in possession of the borders. They cannot infiltrate by any chance. So now they have to use other means. They have to fall back on these methods where they come on sending drones across the border. There is no other way. And those drones are detected. They are shot down by the police and they were recovered. And my congratulations to J&K Police as well for getting this drone down completely. So yes, most certainly they cannot go too far with it. They were earlier sending human bombs. That has not been that scaling of late, so now they're coming on to drones, which is, I agree, drones is the future weapon, the future technology of the world, in fact. But yes, that also will not go too far with it. So ultimately, they will have hell to pay on their own. They'll dig their own grave, Pakistan.
Ali, what are the deterrents when it comes to spotting these drones? It is not always that, you're able to catch these drones. There are tacit ways. There are, in fact, discreet ways of smuggling these flying concoctions into our border. What do you think should be the plan in terms of our deterrence when it comes to shooting down, detecting and disarming these drones?
Okay, very good question, Vireet. And I'm proposing this idea that there should be a drone detachment. There should be a deck of the army which should only look like the way we have the army air defense units. So their only job is to detect the air attacks and to neutralize them. Similarly, there should be a specializing detachment. I'm not talking about a brigade or a big, huge unit, but there should be a detachment at least for drones. I'll take you back to about less than a year back. In Chatwari in Jammu, there was a drone attack at the Air Force base where the ATC tower and the Mi-17 helicopter. The Mi-17 is the same helicopter in which General Vipin Rawat, the CDS, he had crashed in that. So the Mi-17 was parked over there, and that is the time when Pakistan threw a drone, but they could not succeed because of two reasons mainly. First, poor execution. Second, because the wind direction was not in their favor. Now, how do we tackle that? Drones, again, their outer surface, many of the drones are of plastic. So it's very difficult to get them into the radar because it's not magnetic. Not all drones, but many of them. So they become undetected. But when there's a specialized detachment looking only after drones, because drones are the future. In fact, let's take the example of Armenia, Azerbaijan as well. Why not? The entire tank brigade was wiped out. On 2nd January 2020 in Iraq, in the capital, in Baghdad, General Soleimani, the chief of the Kurds, the Iranian chief of the army staff, was killed by the US forces thanks to a drone. LAC, China is using the drones very effectively. We have taken 4 drones on lease, high-tech drones from Israel, and which we would be using at the LAC in fact. So drones, the question brought out by you is, the answer to that is very plain and simple. It's a very lethal weapon. It is the weapon of the modernized technology. So yes, there has to be a specialized drone detachment which should only be there to tackle drones.
Right. Well, 2 days after the Tuk-Tuk mishap where 7 Indian Army soldiers were killed and 19 others were injured in the Tuk-Tuk sector of Ladakh on Friday when the vehicle they were travelling in skidded off the road and fell into the Shyok River. Last respects have now been paid to Lance Nayak Bappaditya Kutta, who lost his life. His mortal remains will be taken to his native village in Paschim Mednipur for last rites. Major Mohommed Ali Shah joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Ali, I'm sure you're quite familiar with what happened over here. 7 Indian Army soldiers were in fact killed and 19 others were injured in the Tuk-Tuk sector of Ladakh on Friday when the vehicle they were travelling in skidded off the road and fell into a river. This is something, Ali, which clearly could have been avoided.
You know, when I was serving in the army, the toughest job that I did in the army, I always say this, is not fighting the enemy or the militants. No. The toughest job I did in the army was when I had to actually inform the NOK of the soldier who's no more. That your son, your brother is no more in this world. And you can imagine the kind of reaction that I would have got from the other end and what I would have gone through at that time, Vineet. So yes, I mean, these things are very unfortunate, very sad. Our soldiers do their job, they do their duty with a smile on their faces, without any complaints in the most difficult terrains, in the most difficult conditions, in the climate. The biggest enemy is the altitude, the lack of oxygen, the climate, the kind of terrain that they serve under. And yes, it is a very, very tough area. That entire belt of Turtuk, where the Shah River is, that entire belt is extremely difficult to actually serve under. And yes, I mean, the last respects of a brave soldier last night, Mohommed has been paid, and the army always honors its brave, always. They never falter on that. Be it of a soldier, be it of an officer, be it of a general, everyone has, they are the true heroes. So I would tell the nation, please choose your heroes very, very carefully. What people revere is, you know, having done a few films as well, but Bollywood, they call it Bollywood, the term. But the real heroes, these are people who are totally unmindful of their own personal safety, who go beyond the call of duty. And 19 Jawans were wounded, 7 soldiers lost their lives. It is attributable to military service. And there's definitely, I mean, a court of inquiry happened. Even if you have a minor fracture of your finger, Vineet, a minor fracture of your finger while playing basketball, there's a court of inquiry ordered for that as well. So there's a court of inquiry which is ordered for this as well, and exact incidents would be ascertained in the inquiry. And so I would really pay my condolence, my heartfelt condolence to the bereaved families and to our entire community of a few good men of the Indian Army.
All right, we have some breaking news coming in now. Well, an FIR has now been registered against Mohommed Shah, the bus driver of the army truck which fell into the river, claiming the lives of 7 Indian soldiers were lost because of his carelessness. The FIR alleges that Mohommed Shah, a local bus driver, was driving the bus and that he jumped out seconds before the bus fell into the river. While Mohommed Shah also suffered minor injuries, 19 other Jawans are admitted in the hospital. Muhammad Ali Shah, defense expert, still with us on the broadcast. Ali, is it prudent to in fact put the blame on the driver before all facts could be ascertained? Perhaps he lost control owing to the ice or perhaps the condition of the road.
As you said, it would not be prudent to jump to conclusions and to speculate what exactly had happened, because the inquiry hasn't really come out. But yes, I can understand the grievance of the people who have registered an FIR on him. They have their own, they could be having their own reasons. And of course, I mean, even an aircraft is flying, if the aircraft is crashing, the pilot will eject himself out. It is, it is sheer bad luck. It could happen anywhere, anytime, and no one would do it deliberately. Nobody would want to do it deliberately, for that matter.
Muhammad Ali Shah, appreciate you joining us.